We are back today, everyone. We're reviewing Superman and Lois, the series premiere of the new addition to the CW lineup, the Arrowverse. Coming a bit late. Sorry about that. There's been a lot going on, and but now we're here. We're reviewing it. I'm very excited. I've been very excited for the show, and you know what? It lived up. It lived up really well. I think to take you back to when it was first announced, I was not not excited, but I was just kind of like, okay, I guess. I don't know. It just felt like a weird addition. There's already Supergirl, and as much as I love Tyler Hoechlin as Superman and Elizabeth Tulloch, Bitsy Tulloch as Lois Lane, whole series to themselves, and it was exciting on one part because it was the first Superman focused media we were going to be getting since Batman v Superman, and like as a Superman fan, that was like hallelujah, thank God. But I was also like, this is a bit of a strange angle. I mean, there was already a Lois and Clark show all the way back in like what was it, the 90s or something like that. So I don't know, it felt weird, and I wasn't sure what direction they were going with it. But as news came out, and they were kind of like further revealing what was going on with it. My excitement level really rose for it because they really were going to be taking Superman and Lois to the one place they've never been before, which was being parents. And I don't want to beat down that angle too much since I feel like everyone's talked about it already. But they played off that angle really well. And they also played off that angle in a very different way to the other main superhero parents, Black Lightning and Lynn Stewart over on on the other CW show, Black Lightning. I think it's the difference. I think like lies with the fact that Black Lightning was like he is an experienced hero equally to the fact he's an experienced father, but Superman is an experienced hero, but he's not an um, experienced father. And I think that even though it's just one element turned inside out, I think it really contributes so well to the story and to how much this feels different. I think the CW has put out a lot of superhero content, and sometimes more than not, it feels like they're like using similar formats. Like how many times have we seen the superhero gain a nerdy, talkative tech person on these shows? Like I love Felicity. I love Win. I love Cisco. I love Luke. But it's like you start to see like, oh, okay, this is just similar formats, and there's just one element of it. But I do have to give the CW props to really like, especially with this show, with like breaking the norm and doing things different, like just doing things differently with this particular show, because it just feels like a new environment. Also, just really, Superman Lois really does stand out amidst just a superhero show element in general, like even going all the way back to Daredevil and Jessica Jones. This show exists wholly in a new, fresh environment and state of and like series of situations, and I think it really spoke well to the show's quality and whatnot. Um, where to go from here? I mean, Hecklin and Tulloch kill it. I mean, they're so great as Superman and Lois. It's it's Superman and Lois, but again, it's Superman and Lois in a new way. We haven't seen them before. We've seen them go through their like emerging romance. We've seen them go through the first flight scenario. We've been through all that. Now they're here dealing with this. We've seen Lois discover his identity millions of times, but now here they are. We're past that point. We've gone through all that, and now they have to deal with this. Like, how do we do this for our kids? How do we set a good example when we're in this position that we've been in? I think it's so fascinating. I love the dynamic they set up between the two. They're so both for really only working to having begun working with each other since 2018, and only for like a few episodes counting Crisis and Infinite Earths. They're really well in tune with each other. They're so in sync with each other. They know each other really well. The chemistry is apparent. You do get the impression that like this is a duo that has known each other for so many years and has been through the things that in comics Superman and Lois have gone through. So they're very charming. I think as parents, they play off really well against their kids, and I think the kids were also really well casted. Just trying to choose my words here for a quick second because like I feel like the show really, if the show is gonna, I feel like keep things different, they're gonna have to go not the obvious route with the kids, which is like spoiler alert for the show. Always spoiler alert with these reviews, but like George, is it Jordan? Yeah, I think it's Jordan. Jordan is sorry, I like keep mixing them up. Jordan is like the more shy and intense one, so it's like, oh, he's the one that could be swayed to the dark side, Anakin Skywalker style, and then like, Jonathan will be the good one. Like, I don't doubt at some point, the show's already been renewed for season two, that like both brothers will have powers, and inevitably we're going to get some sort of fight, like super powered fight or something. I don't doubt that's not going to be that's going to be a play in the cards at some point. But I think for like right now, if they really do want to like keep it different, then like don't play into that thing. I think the Gifted, the X-Men show on Fox, they kind of played that route already. They had two siblings. One was more moody, and then the other one wasn't. And then of course the moody one like turned to the dark side or whatever. Like I think that route's been played. I think for the time being, don't play that route. And I think they already went a really interesting direction by not having both of them have powers. It's just the one they kind of have to focus on, and the other one is like, you know, he doesn't have powers. And I think already that's an interesting way of like twisting the dynamic between the two brothers, who, by the way, acting is pretty solid. Acting is actually really great between them. I think Alexander Garfin as Jordan gets a lot more to do, at least in this first episode. So he obviously stands out. But I'm excited to see what Jordan Elas does as Jonathan. He seems to be very charming, if not, he's a bit of like those like seems to be a big classic older brother of like, he says things, he teases someone, his brother, younger brother, without like fully thinking about what he's saying. But I'm intrigued to see both of where they go. In particular, Jonathan, if only just because he's the one without the powers, so he is really the regular. He's the one most out there because Lois has been through this already, but not him. And to see that back and forth between him and Jordan, I think is going to be really interesting. I think this family as a whole is very, it's just very different, and I really enjoy that. Seeing this new series of conflicts. This isn't about there are metahumans in the city and we have to stop them from our secret base. This is my family is here. We have to fix the family. That's the priority. And I love that feeling. Even Black Lightning, excuse me, didn't do that because it was a different conflict, different season of events. Speaking of which, I love that they took the show to Smallville. And already it feels different from Smallville the show. Because like Smallville the show is just like, oh, it makes sense. This is his origin story, whatever. You have to start from the beginning. But Superman Lois, it really does feel like this emotional reckoning of like going back and being like, this is not the same place as before. In some ways, it works. Like for the show to come around, like I think almost 2 decades approximately at this point, or like 2 decades after Smallville debuted, a full decade after Smallville ended, for them to finally come back to this location, to come back in this way of like, we're not here in the city again. We're not fighting criminals. We're here trying to like fix the family. It just happens that there are, bad guys knocking on their door. So I love the location. I love the conversations that could start about like small town America. And like they already kind of touch on that in the pilot with like Lana Lang's husband like commenting on like Clark left the town or whatever. So I think the use of this, I'm really excited for the use of the Smallville setting in this way that we haven't seen before. Again, another shift in what other classic superhero shows have done, because all of them are in the city. All the Defenders are in New York. Arrow's got Star City, Flash and Central. Black Lightning's in Freeland. I guess Legends is the one cop, like no, not cop out, but like one difference. But they're also existing under different circumstances by time traveling. So I think having them in this situation and setting, I think is really fascinating. What else? I'll talk on the obvious point. The budget's definitely been increased. I won't say too much about this because I feel like it's the point everyone's going to talk about. But like the action looks better, the effects, the setting, the cinematography, it all looks better than the other CW shows, and I'm just really I'm really impressed that they like, it's like they saw like we're bringing Superman and Lois back to the silvers to the small screen, but we want to do right by them. And here we are. This show does not feel like it's in the same. This show does not feel like it takes place alongside Flash and or it takes place alongside Legends, and I think that's good for it. It gives it a breath of fresh air. It gives us a new, again, contributes to that feeling that this is a new adventure we haven't seen before. And yeah, I don't know. I just love the way, like, honestly, this on its own could have been in its own like HBO Max television movie. Could they could have done like the Sherlock approach of like a season is just three television movies, just because like it's such a great story, such a great foundation of just them like trying to teach their kids. And now here Clark and Lois trying to set the example. Both of them, their father figures, General Lane and Jonathan Kent, are very different individuals, and to see them like go now complete that cycle, and not fully complete, but like about to, it's really interesting, and see the kids have to take after them. It's a really great conflict. I'm really excited for it. Um, as for the villain at the end, I'm really excited for that too. I'm excited for a lot about the show, but in this particular, I think it's going to be really interesting. One, they didn't mention a lot about the Arrowverse. They really, just the writers really distance themselves from that, which I hope they like don't do all the time, just because like this still takes place in the same area. So have like news reports referencing Flash or Supergirl. Like I think it'd be a mistake if Melissa Benoist at the very least didn't return to the role of Supergirl for this show after season six. Like I don't think she'll jump in now because season six is airing as the final season, but like it's Superman and Lois, and this particular version of Superman and Lois started with Supergirl, so like she has to appear at some point. And but in regards to the villain, I do like that they did build out of Crisis, and that they're specifically referencing that and specifically acknowledging that. And I think that was just a great instance of like the universe's events, like still having effect and still having ripples. I'm intrigued to see how this version of Luthor differences from John Cryer's, because I'm a really big fan of John Cryer's Lex. I think his performance on Supergirl does not get enough attention, and yeah, I think it's going to be a really interesting angle. They don't. I have no idea how he'll factor in to this larger plot. Like usually, like Flash at this point, we kind of always get this. We kind of all, I feel like, all know like, okay, it's gonna be a secret villain. He has a secret past or something, a secret attachment to Barry Allen or whatever, and then like X, Y, and Z happen. But here, like, I generally have no idea how Captain Luthor is gonna factor into the plot, but I'm excited to see how that like manages, because again, the city's not in danger. It's just Smallville, assumedly, and it's the family. And if they do what Black Lightning did in their season one of like emphasizing the family, which they've already done thus far, then it will be set in place for a very intense emotional and personable conflict, which I think is going to help again the show stand out, because it's also going to stand out amidst other Superman events, because it's always Superman stopping the nuke, lifting the Kryptonite Island, stopping the World Engine. But now it's different. We're in a different series of events, and I can't be more excited to see how they loop the captain into the story. So yeah, that's about it. This is hands down, I think, my favorite premiere of. Yeah, Arrowverse. Granted, as I'm filming this, I haven't seen Flash just yet, but this, I think, right now, this could be my favorite superhero media of 2021. WandaVision notwithstanding, but like I love the direction they took with this show. It's so much more grown up. It's so much more honest. It's a great continuation slash reinvention slash usage of existing Superman mythology, and again, the look and feel of the show seems to match the fact it's got arguably the greatest couple in all of comics at its center. So really excited to see how the show goes from here. It seems that like, even though it seems that Flash and Legend seems to be winding down, and Supergirl and Black Lightning are leaving, that at the very least the Arrowverse will be at the very least safe in the hands of Superman and Lois, and of course Ryan Wilder. So that's about it. Highly recommend you check out the show on the CW. As I'm filming this, only 2 episodes are out. Yeah, it's, as a Superman fan, I'm really happy for my fellow Superman fans. This is the media that's been missing for quite a while, and I'm glad we all got it. And even if you're not a Superman fan, it doesn't feel like a Superman story in the usual sense. So I highly recommend it. Until then, take care. Peace out. I'll be inevitably covering the mid-season finale whenever that is, and stay tuned for more. Always exciting. All right. Peace out. Take care, everyone.